as favourites on the social vote. It all comes down to this demo. I think every player's sort of least favourite game inside of Siege, a best of one. We've had a best of three. We've tried to give you an opportunity, and it's been 7-1, 7-2, opposite sides of the coin. Reply Totem, Villa, that's your map. You guys look strong.
Yep.
HellRaisers, bank. I would not like to face you boys on there anytime soon. 7-2. We haven't seen a lot of Siege, but already we're into our third and final map, which is, of course, Clubhouse. A good old 50-50 to throw this one down. Maverick and Hibana first to be removed. Let's see where HellRaisers want to take this. Likely suspects. Going to be a Valkyrie. There she is. Rip Valkyrie. Think the Valkyrie ban's going to change? I'm not sure if the Valkyrie ban rate will change whenever Valkyrie's changes come in and you can't put the cameras outside. Because whilst it is good and whilst it is viable, there's still so many places indoors that you can get those cameras.
Yeah, I mean, you don't throw 3 outside cameras. At most, you put 1 outside camera.
I know somebody that does.
You gonna share?
Name and shame.
Yep.
Ace of Pyrite loves. He loves. It's specific to Consulate.
Oh no, Tim. Oh no.
It's specific to Consulate.
Which isn't in the map pool though. So
RIP Consulate isn't in the map pool anymore.
Whenever I think of outside cameras, I think of 2 maps: Cafe, Consulate. One of them is not in the comp pool anymore. Cafe is a bit of a rarity to kind of
They're very
find,
obvious.
You know,
they're very obvious, aren't they? Yeah.
To find any good ones. So. Yeah, I don't think the change will do that much in terms of competitive. I think you'll still have a fairly high ban, right? So Clubhouse is the map. We've seen both teams play this very, very recently. Last play day, Totem played it against 86. HellRaisers played it against Ascend. Both of them won it 7-3 against their respectable opponents. And we also seen Totem against M&M in our earlier matchup a few weeks ago. And they beat M&M on Clubhouse. So at the moment, it's looking like a good map for Totem.
A 7-3 would look nice in terms of the numbers as well.
7-1, 7-2, 7-3.
We would be hitting a nice little number pattern there if we could come away with a result like that. But I don't think anybody wants it to be that one-sided. We've already seen 2 very one-sided games, but the series as a whole has been very competitive. It's been very back and forth. 1 map apiece. There's really no 2 ways to look at that. Now, Totem, they're going to start things off here on the defense. Going to be headed straight downstairs. Again, a map that you can look to try and get that roam game out on, and you can try and look to hold and extend. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like that's really in Totem's playstyle. They've not got the Mute Mozzie combination. They've not brought the castle. They're not looking to heavily extend onto that top floor and play with hatches open. It's more likely that we're going to see players lurking in and around staircases just to try and gain a little bit of an edge early on. Mowgli, what are you doing? How does he get away with that demo? Fortunately, HellRaisers aren't going to fully let him get away, and they will at least down him. And there's a chance that Rush can finish him off, at least now that the drone information has come in. But Mowgli is still scurrying down the stairs. And if Rush just carelessly swings for this, he might actually get taken out. It's a good opportunity to try and bait Mowgli here, but nobody on the side of Totem there ready for Rush's swing.
I mean, Mowgli's still got that opening pick on the Exodus, which is great. That eliminates Iana. I think the utility Iana gets at the moment is so valuable. And eliminating the nades, the Gon 6, it's going to help you in the long run, obviously. So we'll see now how HellRaisers want to try and establish their control in towards that kitchen. Obviously, having the sledge is going to make things fairly easy, isn't it, to open up that back armory, start to carry out your take. I mean, currently for Clubhouse, especially for the basement, I think the attacks haven't worked out the greatest for the attackers. I think it is certainly more defender side of that at the moment. Teams get really choked up on debating, do they want to try and take in towards church, or do they want to go for, you know, the classic kitchen dirt?
And it's also very difficult to get that kitchen off often if there is, you know, a Maverick ban and a Hibana ban, which there is here. Impact tricking becomes so important. And we haven't actually got any impacts on the side of Totem. But don't be surprised if you see impacts be brought specifically just to trick onto that kitchen hatch, because when you're dealing with Selmas, when you're dealing with exothermic charges, you're very limited.
It almost feels as if HellRaisers are a little bit scared almost, because they haven't went straight in with the Thermite to try and open up the hatch. They're going to use the Selmas, and big risk realistically from Flares just to use all of them at the same time, but still will make it work, because as we know, there's no impacts on the side of Totem. There's a smoke going down on that double door, that rotate that looks down on towards that kitchen drop. Again, I'm really not sure what HellRaisers are going for. It looks as if they might just look for the kitchen drop, but that is so risky. We've seen that end miserably for the attackers a lot of the time.
That smoke was very early, at least the first one. The second one could still be used. It's essentially at the moment being used to allow players to cross on in, and Smash is going to do just exactly that. Aggressively pushes his way through. Flares has already taken down one onto Eisen. Neox, you bandit tricking, but you need to be concerned because somebody is inside of sight. Kills continue to come through. A mission from the hatch. HellRaisers there. They saw an opportunity demo and they took it.
They're in the bomb site. He's bandit tricking. What's he doing?
I mean, the bait was perfect. Because if you see somebody smoke off that long corridor, you know,
you'd actually expect them to run across.
They're going to be running across.
The church wall.
They're going for the church wall. So, the cross has been smoked. Get ready to bandit trick. And then the bandit's like listening intently to hear when that exthermic charge is getting placed, trying to do his best to trick. Doesn't matter if Smash is swinging the hammer, which he was, straight in. No problem whatsoever, through Ash Rush spot or pull spot, however you like to call it, and then into the site. And from there, it really was just a line them up and knock them down thing from HellRaisers. Storming the way through that first round.
That's what we kind of wanted from HellRaisers. Decisive. We want them to make those decisions that they're not going to have any regrets about. You know, I think we've seen times where teams open it up, but then they don't immediately follow up. They just open it, they wait a few seconds, and then they push. But that time, you know, let's put it in that kind of sense of what happened. Smoke would have been cleared. They would have seen you run across, and you probably would have got slaughtered. So it's all about the decisive decision-making that you're going for. And I think HellRaisers just hit the nail on the head.
They really did. A very explosive first round to kick things off. They're going to be faced with the same puzzle here, although it has changed somewhat. I mentioned at the start of the last round about a couple of operators, Mute and Mozzie and Castle. Now, we haven't got the Mute, but we do have the Mozzie and we do have the Castle. So, speaks to a more extended roam, and Totem going, we really don't want to get caught flat-footed on the site again. We're more than happy to deploy our utility a little bit further here and just try and hold on that mid-floor for a little bit longer and not give HellRaisers such an easy rite of passage to be getting these hatches open. Give them a few mini-games to solve along the way.
I want to see if Totem have actually put anyone upstairs towards that gym and bedroom, because typically if you see, you know, a team holding towards bar, you want to try and go for that top-down verticality. They do have DJs who's lurking towards the staircase, but nobody actually, you know, fully situated inside a bedroom or gym. A lot of them rotating down in towards that bar now. You can see Smash upstairs is where he wants to try and get himself into. And again, utilize that sledgehammer. Keep in mind the verticality is something that we praised HellRaisers. Whenever we've seen Totem set up for these off-site holds, they still are going to use the verticality to push away these roamers. And it's one thing we looked at HellRaisers and it worked for them almost every time they did it.
Smash is having a cracking game as well, a cracking series overall. And if he can continue that, it could be very dangerous here for Totem. Neox just going to be getting droned at the moment inside a bar, feeling the heat and decides to drop back. Bringing the DMR, so I was looking to maybe hold some of those longer lines of sight.
They're gone. All of them are gone.
Half the round's been held. It's something. It isn't ideal. I don't think that you've maybe gotten the value out of the roam that you would like, but at least everybody's got back to site safely.
See, the only issue I have with this is, you know, you went for this roam game to waste time and waste utility and all sorts. Why do you not reinforce the bar hatch as well? I understand it can be used as an escape, but now you've just gave HellRaisers already a piece of the puzzle. You know, they have now something to push off, especially if you're roaming. Who's to say that you can't go out and kill hard breachers? If you go out and kill hard breachers, opening those hatches are going to be impossible for the attacking side, but you know, you've left it open, so that's it. Maybe that's just a personal thing for me. I don't know if anyone else thinks the same way, but I just think, you know, you reinforce that, it's going to give you, you know, obviously more, I would say, accessibility from actually playing inside a moat and hold on to main stairs if things do go wrong for the attackers. Almost
back-to-back nades there from Smash. He did a boatload of damage to Eisen. He also got the kill on DG with the first one. Toxic Babe canisters now being used to cut off inside a Memorial, but Exodus has got other things to say. He's taking control of Blue along with a mission. He's going to find another before being shut down, but it's all down to Neox. A mission in position there. A very, very nice push in through Blue. Really opened up there by Exodus. And again, HellRaisers, they're not coming up against any opposition. Totem haven't reset that mental after Bank, and that much is clear. HellRaisers, they got trounced 7-1 on Villa. It feels like a long time ago, and yes, it was, but they managed to shake that off in the space of 10 minutes before getting themselves into that Bank game, and from there, they have looked unstoppable.
Yeah, that blue position just crumbles at the seams as soon as I got, you know, a bit of wind. The whole house collapses, and I mean, the thing about blue is it is a make or break, realistically, for both sides. You know, into that blue, it is a game of chance. It is a game of 50-50. It's either you look the right way and you kill the defender, or the defender looks the right way and you get killed. So that's the only two ways that we see that happen. And, you know, that time around for HellRaisers, they really want that blue. We've seen, what, 2 guys actually push down. So they made sure they were going to get a trade off anyway, but it didn't even matter. They didn't need the trade.
It's unusual to see 2 players in blue as well. Typically, you only see one.
Just
You'll see
one single guy who sits there on top of Adam for about 2 minutes, and then he kind of makes a bit of a wonder.
Either a Zafir or an Iana or someone of that nature that's just going to play inside of blue and wait to cut off that cross and push in at the right time. But actually committing 2 bodies to it for HellRaisers was certainly beneficial, especially given that they were able to see a large part of the success inside of the round there and immediately trade off onto the kill. That was obviously the key. It's no surprise now to see Totem look to mix things up. They've been downstairs twice. It hasn't worked for them. They can't afford to hemorrhage rounds here on the defense here on Clubhouse. They need to try and find somewhere that they can consistently pick rounds up. Maybe that is going to be here inside a CCTV room and Cash. Smash already. He's got himself in and he is below. Does have the nades, and it looks like he's got a bit of info as well. Knows there's going to be somebody just hanging around at the bottom of Garage. Eisen playing relatively aggressively there, and a nade is going to come through with his name on it.
Yeah, it feels as if Eisen, he's just hungry for a kill. He hasn't had one in quite a while. Ollie. You know, 0-8 in that second map, 0-2 right now, still yet to get off the board, and he knows he needs to make a big performance right now. He doesn't want to let his team down, and inside that Garage, there's a tricky place to play. Whenever there is, you know, walls that can be shot through inside a lounge, it's always a risk. Neox.
What a kill.
Finds the kill from that little slit. I'm surprised that Exodus fell for that. That's kind of Siege 101 for Clubhouse.
Bringing the Bandit throws in like a whole throwback to the meta. Mowgli going to take Smash down as well.
Yeah, ready for that, wasn't he?
But Bandit tricking on that wall is only recently coming back into fashion. But it throws you back to the way that you used to have to take onto this site, and it was to get control of Lounge, send a Zafir in there, use the lifeline on the ceiling, and remove the ability for Bandit to be able to play there.
Through the drone hole, stuns, all
Through
that
the drone
stuff.
hole,
Yeah,
shields.
yeah.
There's all sorts of this little counterplay that starts to come into that. But now we're not really seeing it. No. We're seeing things very differently shape up, and the HellRaisers, for all intents and purposes, are actually really struggling with a task that is, on paper, actually quite simple. Yeah. They've been able to really not do anything. They've not even removed Eisen from the equation. Only now we see a mission pick up the first kill for HellRaisers inside of the round. He's going to be taking down Diju, but a lot of damage has already been done, with Garage control still firmly in the hands of Totem. They may have Lounge, but it is not going to be enough. Rush, he gets caught flat-footed as he was not aware of Eisen's position, and I think everybody now knows where Emission's going to be peeking in from. Mowgli going to be padding his stats with that one. A great little angle onto the Garage doorway. Finally, we see a reply from Totem.
Proud of that one, aren't you?
It just happened.
He's smiling, everyone.
It just
happened. Know. He's looking as smug. Oh...
I've only been waiting since halfway through Bank for it.
It's been a while. Yeah, I mean, interesting point you brought up about the Bandit tricking. Yeah, it's certainly something that has fallen out. Don't really see it all too often. You think of how Clubhouse used to be played 6 months ago. We weren't seeing, you know, the Finka Iana meta with all the nades being brought in. It was Ashe, Sophia. As we know, both those operators with their primary guns have went through some changes, and we don't see them as often. The big thing about Bandit tricking was, like you said, one guy in Lounge and Ashe or Sophia can't do anything. That's it. You bring back that Bandit where you're not up against Sophia and an Ashe, and all of a sudden you realize that, hey, it's actually quite easy if we put just a little bit of pressure onto Lounge to make sure nobody nades us.
Regardless, as you know, you might be sat there thinking, well, you talk so much about up nades or vertical nades. Yeah. And whilst, yes, that's as viable,
but you actually have to get in the building to do these kind of nades.
You've got to get in the building, and you've got to stand there for seconds, actually clutching and cooking the grenade.
In Adam as well.
Not able to do anything. Safe. You know, jumping in with a Zafir, flicking to the lifeline really quickly, bang, bang, and straight out again is relatively quick in comparison.
And you think about that Adam doorway. there is an angle from lounge, an angle from the stairs, an angle from garage door. Those are 3 ways you can get swung from, and it's very difficult to try and hold all of those angles from different areas of the map, because Clubhouse it's a tricky one to set up. You know, it takes a lot of moving parts from the attacker perspective, and you don't have a lot of people just to be throwing around downstairs. You maybe have 1 at most. You're not going to find 2 people trying to take in towards lounge. There'll be 1 guy who'll sit down there and try his best.
HellRaisers faced with a different site this time, as we're not going back downstairs into the basement again. This is probably a wise decision at this point from Totem. Opening kill onto Neox, and that was a kill all the way downtown from the spawn almost, through that platform wall and straight on into CCTV. Unfortunate there for Neox to get himself taken out, as when you're defending gym and bedroom, it's nice to have that presence inside of Cash, and a lot of teams will look to hold Cash and CCTV quite heavily.
Mowgli on a flank right now up through Adam. Is anyone from HellRaisers ready for this, though? Again, Mowgli, we know he likes to pick his moments whenever he needs to, but right now HellRaisers not really interested in taking towards that mid floor. Very direct in towards Cash. Nobody from Totem have went with that hole. It's something that we've kind of gotten accustomed to. His team's always holding in towards the Cash room and trying their best to deny access to an early attacking, you know, kind of breach and push in towards construction, but I mean, Totem have definitely went for a different approach. Look at that mirror window, that second mirror window that we see that can be placed in multiple areas. It's going to be inside of that kind of closet area, looking in towards the bedroom. Double reinforcements on the construction walls into office. So they have plenty of stuff right now to kind of protect them from just a plain direct take from HellRaisers. HellRaisers actually need to work a little bit to get rid of those bandit charges more than anything. That should be their next go, is open up in towards office.
The game is up for Mowgli as he does get caught out there on the drone, retreats up the main stairs. Looks to try and hold halfway for now, but he's not going to have the impact flank that he was really looking for up in toward Cash and CCTV. Instead, it's going to be smashed inside a kitchen, maybe looking to throw a couple of nades vertically. He's going to know where that mirror window is, but the ADS and the hard floor is going to keep him relatively safe for the time being. Selmas do go off onto the lodgy wall and allow that to be open, as a mission does pick up his 2nd kill on the round, eventually taking Mowgli down. Eisen does just let a drone get past him, and he is being held from the gym window, so not a nice position really to be in, as these kills are going to keep on flooding in. A mission picks up 3 before we see a response finally here, as Exodus is going to be the first to fall for HellRaisers. Smoke to cut off the line of sight. A mission with the hop in could look to try and get a plant down here. How is that C4 not killed in Demo? He's on 1 HP, and he still gets the kill onto Eisen. He's got a quad. He's on for the ace. The plant has gone down as DG makes his way up these main stairs. He's got 4 kills to find, and it's going to be very tricky from here on out. Rush eventually there to shut him down. A mission. We highlighted you at the start of the day, but what we didn't highlight you for was your ability to tank an entire C4 at point blank range.
Just like a sentry gun, realistically, on that window. That's where he got a lot of his kills from, just sitting there and waiting for Totem. I mean, Totem were in that situation where they lost that opening pick, and I start seeing Mowgli go for these swings. I think Mowgli was on the main stairs, then he decided to take a wander into bedroom and challenge onto the construction angles, and he just gets blasted away right from the get-go. And this is where Totem should not panic. Mowgli doesn't need to make those plays. Sure, you might be able to get 1 kill, but the chances of you getting refragged is very, very likely. But again, the chances of you going for a swing and getting killed instantly is also very, very likely. So it just looks as if Totem, they're backed in the corner. And again, they're playing scared to almost a point where they've gotten so scared they're playing reckless siege. And that's what we don't want to see from them.
Back downstairs, a side that they've not been successful at the previous 2 times they tried it. This is where we opened up rounds 1 and 2 of this map. They were unsuccessful at both turns. What is the difference? What are they going to try and do? It's the same setup that they brought inside of round number 1. Round number 2, they tried a little bit more of a roam. They brought the Mozzie, they brought the castle. They were going for that little bit more map control. But again, it didn't make any difference as to the result. HellRaisers still stormed on through. We're going to be looking really toward an impact opening kill here, I think, from Totem. That's what they need to swing the balance into their favor.
Especially for this, bomb site where there is a lot of entrances into the bomb site. You've got blue, you've got dirt, you've got the kitchen hatch, you've got moto, you've got the long corridor downstairs in the basement. A lot of different ways you can just walk into the bomb site. And if you have an extra man on the attack, that does so much. Because if you establish a great take from, let's say, kitchen and dirt, you're going to have the majority of the defenders looking towards that side of the map, trying to defend those hatches and make sure nobody get the diffuser down. But you have just one guy walking down blue by himself. We see it time and time again. You know, it happens far too often, I think, for our liking. But one guy walks down blue and just exposes them. You know, gets 2 kills, shooting people in the back almost. So if you have that extra man, it is so valuable for the attackers.
Smash is going to be looking to try and open up some of this flooring now. Typically get the barricade open, be able to remove the default camera, open up a nice space for a smoke to go through. As I'm expecting to see a very similar take here from HellRaisers. It worked flawlessly last time, but they were able to smoke off that long corridor. Exodus now looking to try and put a bit of this pressure in onto blue, but you can see just how firmly Totem want to try and hold this. The hatch will be opened up into stock though, as Exodus, he's got the LMG demo, he can just spray all day.
Drone work still up for HellRaisers. We'll try and flood the site, find out the information. Again, HellRaisers, tricky team to read sometimes in terms of what they're actually going to be going for. Obviously, we've seen them hit kitchen quite hard. We've seen them hit blue quite hard. So certainly are a team that don't take the same pathing every single time. So I wonder what they have in store for us this time around. That mirror window will shut down any hopes that Exodus wants to try and go for a crouch walk down through Oil Pit. HellRaisers, oh, D-Juice peeks the hatch and finds Exodus. Don't know, that's been slipped through, but it has. HellRaisers looks as if now they might be out of options for the blue and have to go straight for that kitchen and dirt. But the biggest issue, Ollie, kitchen hatch still not open.
Selmas have been used there on the church wall. We can see no exothermic charge left for a mission, so this really is just going to be a out-and-out church push.
Only issue with going for the church push is they don't have blue control, and you can hold church from blue, and because they lost Exodus, they don't have that man. It looks now that they've had to rotate a mission to do that job, but it's still not looking good for them.
Link is going to find himself 2 really important kills, well, at least 1 and the down, before looking to try and confirm with the Toxic Babe canister a mission. He hasn't seen any success. He's actually approached through Oil Pit as opposed to going directly through blue, but he too will be shut down. Totem are here, and they are here with some adaptation demo. They've been able to hold on. They shifted their focus inside of that round. They knew how much more firmly they needed to hold on to blue. We finally saw the church wall get open, which wasn't HellRaisers' intent inside of round 1. And it actually didn't work out for them. They weren't anticipating Link to be playing so aggressively and so confidently in that position directly behind the breach.
A lot of that comes down to the first kill. You know, Exodus is that man who pushes in towards blue. It's what we've come to expect of him. As soon as he's off the table and he dies, that's the blue pressure gone. Like I said, if you want to go for church, you can't push church without blue control. And then you have to rotate a player all the way around, which probably, you know, it's not a position that he is used to playing. You know, usually if you're a blue player, you're known as a blue player. There's certain players who always go for that side of the map, but you know, you put your team in a tricky situation. And then if you take one guy away from the main pushing force in towards church, that's one less guy to get frags. The opening pick. A lot really lies on it for, especially a map like Clubhouse, where that numbers advantage is crucial.
It really is. 3 rounds to 2 currently. A chance to end the half at an equal 3-3 split. Something that, it may surprise you to hear, we haven't seen yet today between these 2 teams.
5 seconds to go.
Now, this was a site that HellRaisers came up against significant opposition. The change in the adaptation demo has been Exodus. He has switched things up, and he's gone, we now know that Totem are going to try and bandit trick onto this. So what are we going to do? We're not going to bring the Iana. We are going to instead bring the Zephyr. Ready and waiting to get rid of the bandit. Now, Neox has opened up his little kill hole again. He's going to have that line of sight into the top of blue stairs. But if Exodus is able to get in successfully, we aren't going to be able to see a successful bandit trick here from Neox. Now, Exodus's position at the moment doesn't demonstrate or indicate that he's actually going to be going for the bottom of lounge control and looking to try and work in that way. Instead, he's going to be going for a more west-sided clear.
Smash will spot out Mowgli. He's been okay at the moment. He hasn't popped off to what we expect, but still positive in terms of the KD. just scaring away any potential rotates up that main stairs, and HellRaisers seem to be very set on a construction-sided take. So, biggest thing we're going for a construction side, though, is you still need to have that downstairs control, Ollie, because as we know, that single wall, you can still be bandit tricked from it.
Hatch being open as well gives you another point of vulnerability. We do see Neox continually tricking and actually going to switch things up. I think he might have missed it.
Yeah, he's not there for the other side.
He's just caught flat-footed. There was no indication. Emission's actually still going to be trying to get this platform wall open as well. So if that happens, the site's going to become a very difficult place to be.
Oh, and he's missed that as well. Is he going to miss? No, don't. Okay. Emission, honestly, maybe could have gone away with that, but he's going to be bandit tricked nonetheless, so well done from Neox. Sure, he sacrifices that single wall, but as long as he can keep that main wall open, like you said, Ollie, it still gives him options. It doesn't block off the site.
Oh, there's the nade. Smash comes through with the nade. Beautiful stuff.
Wow, what a hit from where he is. Wow.
I see he's threaded the eye of the needle there, Demo. He's got it through the narrowest of angles. Mowgli gets caught down in the cross as well as he tries to scurry and flee his way out of sight. Totem do still have the top of garage control, but we can see players stacked up at the top of red. Diju now getting pressured inside of there, as with both breaches open, it's going to be very difficult for him to try and keep himself alive. He knows that there's going to be a Zephyr on the window and gets shut down by Exodus despite holding on to the angle. The lifeline comes through, it's going to stun Eisen, and it's going to be Eisen left inside of the clutch. Finds one, but not the second. HellRaisers, they take 4-2 out of their first split here on Club.
Dismantled, really, wasn't it? It was very easy, I would say, more than anything for HellRaisers. Walk in the construction, get that wall open because the bandit isn't there. You do great. I think that nade, one of the best nades that we've had this competition, you know, to hit that. Fair play to him. And then from there, wall gets opened, panic ensues across the defense, and it's very easy then for HellRaisers to trap them in corners and don't let them out. I mean, HellRaisers have done extremely well compared to how they played on Villa, which seems like a very, very long time ago now. They have done well to control the advantages that they've had. They've made sure that they're shutting down Totem whenever Totem tried to respond with these plays, whenever Totem are on the back foot.
I really like the way that HellRaisers have been able to overcome these problems. That was a site that caused them significant issue in round number 3, and they were able to approach it in an entirely new way. They brought different operators, they brought a different lineup, and they were able to see success there. So you've really got to take your hats off to HellRaisers for their ability to adapt here inside of this series. 4-2 split on attack is really nothing to be sniffed at here on Club. Certainly puts the pressure onto Totem now. So they are going to be dealing with that extended hold, the vigil, the mute, all the things that you really don't want to be seeing. We've got a Legion thrown in there for good measure as well. All things to make Totem's approach even more difficult. We've already spoken about how good Totem are on the drone game, how they like to get at least 2 drones in for Mowgli so that he can work his magic. You think about something like a mute, that's going to slow the drone game down. You think about a vigil, that's also going to slow it down. And then you've got the goo mines thrown in there to essentially slow Mowgli down. If he gets caught out on one of them goo mines, it's going to be a big indicator as to which direction everybody's pushing in from. But as we say all that and we give all the credit, Exodus gets taken out, almost the oldest trick in the book there, from the window on those main stairs. Just caught lacking on that rotation back down to sight, that extended hold. It does take a bit of time to set up, Demo, and you can get caught short on it. Smash 2, lit to only 5 HP, as he too will be downed and almost certainly finished off.
Yep, Eisen gets the drone work in. Well done for Mowgli, being in the right position for anyone flanking up in towards Adam and in towards Lounge. And here comes a second, potentially for Mowgli to find another kill, and he has the right idea. Great work again from... This is what we expect from him, isn't it?
It's so free for Mowgli. It makes it look easy. But the presence of mind to not chase the down player inside of Garage, and the fact that the drone work is sufficient, that he knows that he's downed, and he's like, yep, he is not going anywhere. Don't worry about it. Now, Emission is going to try and make sense of all this, but he drops very quickly down Oil Pit. I'm not sure if Mowgli got the glimpse onto that. Rush gets caught looking the wrong way on the 50-50. Unfortunate timing for him, but he too will fall. It leaves a lot to do for a poor old Vigil. Emission, he's going to find one, potentially a second. No, shut down by Neox, the LMG. Such a powerhouse through that angle.
LMG meta. We've seen a lot of them. Sophia, obviously the Finka LMG as well can be brought in. There's your Fuse LMG. Probably one that we don't see all too often. Typically it's the AK, but...
Let's make a slow guy slower.
Pretty much.
It's your worst nightmare.
It is just too slow. Too slow. I mean, that's a great way to respond after a fairly average half from Totem. I mean, a bit of a poor half, realistically, if you think about it on the defense, but who's to say that they can't rally on the attack? Even
though it's a best of one, essentially, now, it still feels like Totem are behind. And I don't just mean one round behind. I mean significant. I feel like the one map down inside of the best of three at this point, with the way that last game was just so convincing, the way that the first game was so convincing. Everything is up in the air with this fixture, and it's on Totem to rally round after round from here on out.
Yeah. So, quick switch. Straight away, HellRaisers are going to look for the top floor. That mirror window is an interesting one. The mirror window just slapped right in the middle of that single construction wall. You won't really be able to peek anything from that angle. Yeah, the whole thing about mirror is, yes, it gives you information, but also gives you information you can then quick peek from using a reinforced wall beside a soft wall. With that reinforced wall, the only thing it's going to really help you with is potential of bandit tricking, because then you're able to, I mean, somewhat see what's coming at you, but then think of the change that happened to mirror. You can go over and just punch the mirror window, and that vision's been blocked out. And that's very easy from both of those positions, and wow, what a play from Exodus. Breaks the barricade, finds Link, and that's a very, very important kill, because that's the Thermite gone. A big hard breach off the board, but keep in mind they still have hard breach gadgets from Neox.
You can't pick who you get, but to pick the Thermite there out of the crowd almost, fortunate stuff for Exodus. As the mirror, he set his utility down. Sure, there's opportunity to make use of a C4 or whatnot, but realistically taking down the hard breacher, he feels it's worth it in that situation.
Yeah, it is. It's worth it. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the only issue now that I would say that, well, I would say that Totem are going to run into issues, mostly because they only have one guy who can open up walls. If you think about how they approached, or how HellRaisers approached attacking this top floor, they had one hard breach in towards construction and the other hard breach out towards the balcony. So the bandit in that element can only choose the bandit trick one side. He can't choose both. But now you're at a situation where they are headlocked into choosing one or the other. And if a mission plays his cards right, which realistically now if you're a mission, get over to that single wall. Start bandit tricking that.
I mean, there's a realistic argument to say that one hard breacher isn't enough to be bringing on this map, period. You need to bring two, so it does put increasing pressure on those secondary hard breach gadgets that Neox has got in his pocket. See the nade starting to come on into sight now. Diju able to remove that mute jammer. The mission doesn't look like he's going to be in position to try and get the trick off onto this. He's worried about the construction doorway. We can see that there's going to be nobody on that. Now, the mirror window getting opened, that's strange. I'm not sure if DG did that from below or if that was maybe flares, but it's obviously giving a point of vulnerability. Now, sure, it's going to be nice. You can use that secondary hard breach gadget to open up that wall, and you are now going to be given a little bit more of a line of sight and something you can crouch through.
Yeah.
But there's still players holding tight with shotguns, Demo.
Yeah, you need to make sure you clear top red stairs. That's the most important thing right now for them. If you look at the players that are stacked up, you've got the smoke, which is already going to be difficult to get through with those toxic babes, but Mission and Rush still have C4s that they can pocket through and perhaps snag a kill. And oh, a great nade from Mowgli. Eliminates Rush. Rush thought he was safe on top of the table, but nope. Not going to happen for him. And that really does swing things in favor of Totem now. If you look at how they're set up, they've got a lot of people stacked over towards construction. There is the only C4 left. A Mission tosses it out, but it finds absolutely nothing. Eisen just holds on to the window, will find a Mission, and flares now. What's he going to do? They flooded the bomb site. Mowgli is in, causing issues, and finds the second also. Totem didn't start well for them. They lost the Thermite, but still a great comeback.
Totem's ability to problem solve then, take a breath, take themselves out of the occasion and out of the situation.
Quick thinking, yeah.
And really just assess what they had in front of them. They knew they had two secondary hard breach gadgets. They also knew that they'd been able to remove the mirror from play, so they were as worried about the C4s. Then they can just start to flex. They can go, right, DG, get yourself downstairs. Someone's droning you in for that. Remove that utility, remove the mute jammer. Mowgli goes down, a cracking nade. We've seen some really good nades just in this map, let alone the series as a whole. A cracking nade that really opened things up. Shutting down Rush there in that position was absolutely critical. With the shotgun at close range, you need to do something about that. You can't be face checking it, even if you're going to throw two bodies at it. And then as soon as that happens, it's kind of rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And Totem just able to then go through the motions, look to get the plant down, and crossfire in onto the site.
Yeah. So I would say it's still not as clean as what Totem would want. I think that's, you know, they hold themselves to very high regard. We've seen some of the attacks they pull out. You know, I mentioned before, some of the attacks they do are just incredible. Some of the best we've had in the competition. But, you know, the quick thinking on your feet is a skill that a lot of teams kind of miss out on. If your plan A doesn't work, teams will just fall apart. You need to have a plan B. And it looks as if they have it. They have a plan B. I mean, a lot of that did rely on... A lot of it is down to individual gunfights. You know, there was a lot of moments where, if you think of Eisen on that single window looking in towards server, if he dies, their whole idea is out the window. Because keep in mind, that main breach was never open throughout the course of that round. So there is a lot relying on the shoulders of the players. But, hey, they stepped up.
Leveled it up to 4 rounds apiece, the most competitive map that we've seen so far. Let's see how they roll through. Round number 9 currently. Slightly different site to approach on into here. Gonna be looking toward gym and bedroom. HellRaisers. Extending there over in toward the cache side, as is typical. The drone work going on ahead. Diju, has he got Exodus on the drone? Mowgli just trying to bait Exodus into the engagement there. He's opening up the barricade, giving himself a line of sight, but he isn't holding onto it. Exodus, is he going to be allowed to cross? Looks as though he is. Mowgli there just suffering a little bit to the time in. Going to try and get a nade on out, but there's going to be actually nobody upstairs to receive. Unless that was for the mute jammer, maybe. That was quite a long throw if it was. And a very accurate one at that. For the bandit charge that was on that platform wall, so Mowgli doing a lot of work there inside of the opening part of that round. He's allowed the secondary hard breach gadget to be used. We've already seen Jacuzzi open as well. Things looking good so far in the early part of this round. Totem getting a lot of easy jobs done.
Yeah, HellRaisers, fairly basic hold. Nothing that I think should stump Totem at all. You know, the positioning, one guy top red, one guy top stairs, one guy kind of rotating between red stairs in towards cache, in towards construction, kind of in the limbo phase, and then you have the rest of them kind of in the usual positions you would expect on site. However, they do have a roamer, they have Exodus, and he needs to try and find Mowgli, because Mowgli from below, again, still has the nade. He could make something happen. All he needs is one chance. A flashbang will go through, and Rush has jumped right over that rotate hole. Dodges out of a lot of utility. Still on a good position. You can see he's up against the wall right now and just has to hold on to one direction. Exodus will get spotted out. That's good information from Totem. Mowgli. He's done very well to find him, and now he knows what he's ready for, what he's aware of. Again, Totem, 40 seconds to go. Still no kills for either side. What are they going to go for? What is in store for Totem?
The fact that Exodus is still alive here on the roam is very dangerous indeed. Rush has actually been able to make his way back inside of bathroom, as he can now look to try and play that mirror window, although it has just been shut out. Exodus eventually does get shut down. Mowgli can start to make his way up these main stairs now, but the smoke will start to cut him off. Kills flood in here for HellRaisers, and they continue to do so. All of the kills required as the execute onto site just wasn't sufficient, walking up those main stairs and really bottlenecking inside of logistics.
Yeah, not having many people in the windows, which is probably the biggest issue I think that Totem ran into.
You think about a mission and how much success he saw from the windows.
You think about the windows, how many angles you can get. If you think of that position that the smoke was in that final kill, he can be shot from gym window in that scenario. So yeah, surprising position picking from Totem in that round. So a bit of a worry there for Totem. They've lost the gym, but that means HellRaisers are going to have to go back to a site that they haven't won.
Pressure does start to mount at this point. Round number 10, scoreline of 5-4. Things start to get a little bit tense here, Demo.
I mean, look at the kills on either side. It's very even. You know, you've got one player and HellRaisers standing above the rest. You've got one player and Totem standing above the rest, and everyone else just a little bit
going
lagging
through the
behind.
motions. Everyone else just going through the motions here inside of this one. 5 rounds to 4. HellRaisers currently in the lead. It's worth reminding everybody at home that the loser of this game, the loser of this map, is going to be sent home. The winner does advance on through for a game on Thursday with either Death Row or Eminem.
Played the loser.
The loser of our next game will play the winner of this one. You think about the run that Totem have been on as well through this lower bracket. They really haven't made things easy for themselves. And
I mean, Totem have definitely impressed massively. You know,
Yeah.
you think of Totem coming into this tournament, got placed into the M&M group, which you're already thinking, oh, how are they going to square up against M&M? M&M went out and beat them, you know, quite comfortably. And then you go into the playoffs already, you know, they caused the upset. They beat Makers in that first matchup. And, you know, is that where we saw that team just go from strength to strength? And, you know, their back has been up against the wall so many times. I think, you know, they've gave us panic moments where they've choked heavily. It's been, you know, what a ride for Totem, but somehow they're still in it.
great nade there from Mowgli to remove that utility, but the opening kill will go in favor of HellRaisers.
I like that adaptation from HellRaisers, just placing one guy in bar, knowing the kind of approach that Totem like to go for. They want to get DJs in, open up the entirety of that cache, eliminate the potential bandit trick on that single wall. So, yeah, good work, and I'm surprised that Totem actually let that slide, and no way have they let the bandit trick still go off. What?
You've got to take deeper into Lounge if you're going to only be opening up a small hole like that. The reason that Zafir is used is because you can just destroy that floor. You lay waste to it. And there's so many angles that you're worried about. But with it only being a hole that's been caused by a nade explosion, Emission's more than happy to just play on there. That's going to do significant harm here for Totem. They're now even further restricted in terms of what they can get opened. Mowgli picks up a great kill onto Rush as he does catch him rotating downstairs, level things up at 4 men apiece here, as another nade is thrown through in an attempt to try and remove either utility or get a bit of damage done. Don't forget, Totem won this round last time, Demo, and they didn't even have the thermite.
Oh, the timing is... That's unfortunate. You got a feel there for Neox holding on to that run-out angle for so long, and as soon as he looks away, guess he goes for a swing. Hexus, though, he's trapped inside a kitchen now, but how much time can he eat up is the real question. Mowgli wants them. He's going to try and call in Eisen for a bit of backup. Eisen straight in towards the meat locker. He also loses Mowgli in that engagement. Totem have played that quite poor. That should have been an even trade, and we should be sitting at 3 versus 3 right now. But HellRaisers will take the advantage, and with 30 seconds to go, the walls are not open. There is nothing for Totem to play off right now.
Totem did better when they lost the thermite first, attacking into this site a couple of rounds ago. This has not gone well for them at all, and they are faced with a single doorway push through. A C4 will meet them as Eisen falls to his knees. Link choking on the Toxic Babe canister, desperately pre-fires up through the hatch in case he was being chased. 10 seconds, 3 kills to find. He's got vertical angles to play with, but realistically, HellRaisers aren't going to give him that opportunity. This is going to be match and series point locked in for HellRaisers.
HellRaisers just playing on the downfall. I mean, Exodus, he knew he was done. Like, he knew as soon as he got that kill on Fuse, he just has to waste time inside a...
Time for Totem to really, really make the comeback. They know it can be done because it has happened to them so many times, Demo.
You know, the Choke Kings have to now become the Comeback Kings. That's just the way it has to be. They have to front up and say, no, we're not going to roll over. We're gonna pull us back. And who's to say they can't?
I'm seeing a Ying. Anytime that a team takes a timeout and then changes things to bring like a Ying or something that's seen as a big beachhead.
So I would say we have red flags in
is
Siege,
a red flag.
right? We've got Ying,
yeah.
We've got Bonte, we've got Glaz, we've got Amaru.
Yeah.
Those are my red flags.
It's a red flag for me. It really is. I hope and pray that Neox has got a good idea of how he wants to try and deploy this utility. But realistically, where is it going to go? Attacking downstairs into Church and Arsenal.
10 seconds to go.
I mean, Ying is usually only showcase for the kitchen dirt. That's where we see her. You just flood the bomb site with the candelas and the smokes, and you just pray it works. That's usually the go-to. And we've seen good success with Ying for the kitchen. It's just how well can they establish control of the kitchen, looking at how HellRaisers are set up. HellRaisers going to try and hold upstairs towards gym and bedroom. We're seeing hatches being opened up. They've got impact holes above kitchen. That's just going to make things very tricky for Totem to go one-dimensional. Totem are now in this kind of situation where they're almost forced to go for the hunt, because you can't go into kitchen if you know those holes are being played from above.
It's a really nice play from HellRaisers to give a lot to do to the attackers here and play some extended roam games, even in a round that means so much, because you're then not able to effectively go for these sort of cheeky strategies of getting the Ying in there and trying to take people by surprise, because you've just got so much of the map to clear. We get a little bit of a skirmish on those main stairs as Exodus does take a little bit of damage, but Emission's still able to hang around here just in between construction and bedroom. You can see he's just come out of his scanner there, and he's going to be holding on onto that exterior wall. I do believe it's DG playing on the other side of it. Could choose to hop in, but instead he's going to look to get himself safe.
Time slowly ticking away for Totem. And they don't really have anything to sing or dance about. Again, still a mission upstairs can cause them issues. Bit of pressure being applied to him, but I mean, this is not a strong gunfight realistically for DJs, and I don't think DJs had any idea he's in that position somehow. Emission, he on ADSs, but still wins that engagement, and could this be the beginning of the end of this match?
I mean, that's not how you want to start an engagement, is it? Emission there, obviously. The nerves get into him, thought he got the kill before the kill was actually confirmed. Does get away with it, gets away with half of his health intact, and can make a rotation as well. Can look to try and put a bit of pressure in toward blue. Seeing success out there on the roam, especially with DG's positioning. Bear in mind, this is a downstairs site. This is attacking into Church and Arsenal. DG hasn't been able to rip open as much of the floor as he usually has been doing in these approaches. Now we've got Mowgli looking to try and nade on through. He's got a player behind Generator that he's looking to deal with. The nade will sing, but it will be caught by the ADS. Mowgli hits the drop, but he too will be taken down. That's a mission's cue to call. He can now get himself back into the site. Neox, we called it. Please show us something beautiful with these Candelas, because your team desperately need it now. He's going to throw one out, run through the smoke, but it comes to nothing. Flair's there to shut him down. 2 versus 5 now, 25 seconds left. Eisen, the hope and dream of reply rests on your shoulders, and you too will go down into the dirt. Flair's picking up that final kill. A flawless round to finish things off here for HellRaisers demo, and they do it. Not quite the 7-3 that we were looking for, but a 7-4 will do just nicely. HellRaisers come back. They take the next 2 maps inside of the series after being battered over on Villa, and they get the job done. What a performance from